Okay, welcome to the Crow Discovery Project. I'm going to cover the harvest moon and this blood spell that's being cast again, and I'm going to give you a couple updates here real quick. Here is the new scope that failed. I have a new scope coming, should be here in about a week, and Meade did stand up behind their product. This is a telephoto shot with the new equipment. This cloud is roughly 20 to 25 miles away from me, and finally, this is a handheld telephoto night shot of a plane, and the reason I'm showing you this is just to show you how black the blacks are and how good the noise reduction is. But anyhow, let's get on with the moon. Okay, here is the full moon from the other night. It's been called a blood moon again, which is kind of a sore subject with me. The blood moon was originally the fall moon way back before Roman times and into the Roman times, simply because the harvest was done. They were going to have to kill animals for food. It had nothing to do with the color of the moon. And again, you see the media pushing the idea of the color of the moon representing blood, introducing the idea of blood into the public consciousness. And I have a problem with it. It's a bit like introducing error into the system. At any rate, as it came up, it had this very golden hue. And I could see it with my eye, and the camera did amplify it a bit, although I had all color settings zeroed. But the strange thing about this moon is that as it got to be 30, 40, maybe even 50 degrees off the horizon, well, maybe more like 40 degrees off the horizon, it still had this color. And, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, what am I looking at here? Because the first time I ever filmed the wave was at the fall equinox, which is right around the corner from us. Also, I was contacted this morning by someone who claims to have filmed the lunar wave and is sending me video, which would be very interesting because, again, we're close to the fall equinox, which was the best filming of the lunar wave. Anyhow, let me load up the next video. Okay, so I should also mention that often when the moon is low on the horizon, you're looking through a lot of atmosphere and it gets a turbulent look and it changes color like this. The strange thing about this moon is it was well off the horizon and it still had this very kind of orange gold tint. Anyhow, watch here. Here a satellite's going to go by. Now I believe that is the ERBS satellite, and I'll do another breakdown. It's tough to see because I had the auto lighting on, and the reason I was doing that, I've shown other clips. Here it comes again. I'll zoom in, upper left. And I was using the auto lighting to run the moon off frame to search for objects. I know it's tough to see, but there it is right there. And this is typical of what a lot of satellites look like. Okay, and here's the last view of this object. It's very difficult to see, and remember, this is slowed way down. A lot of people are going to think they see it flapping, but that's just a function of kind of seeing through it and the train underneath giving it that look. It's actually kind of a donut roundy look with little wings on it. And as I told you, I had the auto lighting set when I did this, and I'll show you what I was doing right here. You run the moon off frame with your auto lighting, and the auto lighting kicks in, and sometimes you can find objects off the edge of the moon, and there went a plane. Unfortunately, if I'd had this framed right, that would have been quite a shot if I wouldn't have had the auto lighting on. Anyways. Okay, so I'll show you how I vet my satellites. This is Stellarium. It's one of the many ways you can vet for satellites. Here's the moon, and you'll notice it says ×4. If you're going to do this, you need to come into this setting and unscale the moon so it's not 4 times too large. What I do is I select the moon, I center it, I turn on my satellites, and I bring up the clock. I shot this object at 8:57, and I have a rule that if the satellite's within 15 minutes of the time I shot, I will consider it and try to vet it. Here's the satellite right here at 2050, so it's 7 minutes off, and it's a ways away from the moon. But you've got to realize these satellite things, they're not very accurate, and you need to update them almost literally by the hour to even be close. My telescope is the same way. It'll track satellites, but you have to update it regularly. So I'll run this backwards. You can see this is backwards, and I'll run it coming in. Here it is coming in forwards. The ERBS satellite right here, and it's coming about the same way. So I'm 90%, 95% sure that the object I just showed you is probably this satellite. And satellites typically look this kind of see-through-y look they have to them. Anyhow, this is a sneak preview of the optics to come. I think this was taken the first night that I put the new camera on the new scope. The scene was not good because the moon was already over the house, so you can see heat shimmer. And on top of that, it has a very fine focus, and I had not made my focusing tool yet, so the focus is a bit off here. Actually, it's quite a bit off, but you can see just how sharp I'm about to be when I shoot things. And the other thing is the camera doesn't have any dithering on the pixels. So there's the sneak preview. And here we're going to pay tribute to some of the folks who were supporting me around the world. Here's my friend Demetrius from the land down under, standing in front of his 8-inch LX200. Thanks, Demetrius, for the support. He's sporting his Crow 7.7 gear. Demetrius does deep sky work with that scope, and it is a mirror of the classic version of that scope, which I started with. Great scope. This is Saturn. I should point out, it is not easy to get pictures of planets this crisp. This is a great shot of Saturn, and I'll show you some of the deep sky work that Demetrius does as well. Very difficult thing to do. Here's the Trifid Nebula, and I think this nebula is most famous. Whenever you see Star Trek, you'll always notice that on the bridge there's a picture of the Trifid Nebula in the background, and that's one hell of a shot, Demetrius. And lastly, this one's a mind-boggler. I've shot M42. This is the Orion Nebula, and I have never come anywhere close to getting this kind of detail. That is one fantastic shot of M42. This is one of the most important nebulas in our region of the sky. I have a lot of theories about this nebula and its relationship to our sun. At any rate, that's it for this round. I'm still shooting. I have had one heck of a long dry spell without shooting any objects, but I'm still on top of it, and I should have the new scope soon. Cheers.